Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards coming at you with another Good Enough Commander ratings video. This time, next popular deck is the first team up we got. First partners, Sam Loyal Attendant and Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. Let's get right into this. Sam Loyal Attendant is 1, a green and a white for a 2/4 legendary creature, halfling peasant. Partner with Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you create a food token. It's an artifact with pay 2, generic, tap it, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. Activated abilities of food you control cost 1 less to activate. So the food is actually just pay 1, tap, sack, draw, gain 3 life. Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit is a white and a black for a 1/3 halfling scout. Partner with Sam Loyal Attendant. Vigilance. When Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit attacks, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts you. Then, if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card. Let's talk about a few things here. First off, what the heck is the ring tempts you, right? Let's just pull up that picture right here. Because I was, I guess, too lazy to bother. So here it is. Here's the ring tempts you. So the ring tempts you is simple. The first time it does it, you pick a character, a person. In this case, Frodo. That guy. The ring bearer is legendary and it can't be blocked by by creatures with greater power. So since it's a 1/3, it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power than it. So it can only be blocked by 1x's or 0x's. So it normally won't die in combat. When your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Cool. And since that's the second time, then if your ring bearer, or then if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card. So if this triggers, boom, you get to draw a card, and then when you attack, you get to draw and discard a card. It's actually, whenever it attacks, you get this nice, cool thing. So that's really nice. So then that's, interestingly enough, followed up by the third time it tempts you, whenever the ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices at the end of combat. So even if they block this creature with a wall or some big tough guy, it will disappear. So then they're going to be like, well, I don't want to block it. I guess we're just going to take the 1 damage, right? That's not too much damage. But then, whenever the ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So they'll lose 4, and then the other 2 will lose 3. And that just kind of stacks up. And that's your win con in these decks, usually just this ring bearer concept. So the way this works is you get Frodo out, then you get Sam out, and then combat happens, and Sam's like, hey, let's make a food. And then Frodo's like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm going to swing. And then Sam's like, cool, let's sack a food. Gain 3 life. And then Frodo's like, cool, thanks, I've gained 3 or more life. Now that I'm attacking, the ring's going to tempt me because I was hungry. And since I got hungry, I'm now tempted by the ring because I'm no longer hungry. I ate. I'm satisfied by my hunger's no longer blocking the ring. So now he's going to want to just put the ring on, and he slips the ring on. Or maybe, actually, honestly, it's more like the food gives Frodo the ability to continue forward on his adventure, right? He can push forward through these struggles and continue to bear the ring, right? So he'll continue to bear the ring and eventually gets to this point where if he continues to do it, he's really good at it. So now you're gonna get some advantage for having him bear the ring. So now let's break right into it. Am I rating this any differently than one card commanders? Yes, in the sense that they're just generically better. The chances of a 2-card combo being worse than a 1-card is slim. Not impossible, right? But, they get such an advantage for having 2 cards. If and you'll see that as we go along, right? If like Frodo draws you a card, right? Sam doesn't. Okay, cool. So Frodo gets you card draw. And is a 2-drop. So the 2-drop here breaks Sam's, like normally Sam would only be so much for commander cost, but because you can get a commander out at the 5-point part, that's where it is. They combine to 3 point. So we'll get into it and you'll see what I mean. But since they both cover different bases, they get more points. And that's why partners are so strong. Because they cover each other's weaknesses. So let's get into this. As you can see, categories as always is commander cost, color, identity, protection, interaction, mana advantage, card advantage, combo engine, and will it TTRPG. My personal favorite. My other personal favorite thing is if you would subscribe. If you would, and if you would send down into that little doobly-doo spot below everything and leave a comment on if you like Sam or Frodo more, so I can actively judge you for picking the wrong one, of whom I will not reveal until after the end of this video, if you want to know the right answer. I will like your comment. I don't get a lot of comments. And so I will read it, and I will like it, and probably respond. And I will tell you why you're right or wrong. So, let's get into it. Commander cost. It's a 5. It gets 5 points. Frodo is a 2-drop for a total of is a black and a white for 2. It's a 2-drop. So it gets that 5 points. It's 2 mana. It doesn't have 3 or more different pips. You know, Sam would fall under this 4-pointer, right? So you go like, well, to get both out, you need this. Right, I get that. But like to get one out, 5. And I don't do half points. And it's my game, my stuff. I'm rounding up. Even if you took the in-between and said 4.5, I'd say 5. Give them the point, guys. Like, you can get your commander out on turn 2. It's a 2-drop commander, okay? Next up is color identity. It gets that 3. It gets the white, green, black little color pairing. Such a fun little color pairing. You get the protection and order of white. You get the nicest death and decay of black. And the great life and nurture of green. Just that, like, life gain at a cost. Which is great. That's exactly what you want. And, like, you have this great engine just going for you. You gain life, you draw cards. You hurt people because you got the ring. Nothing bad going on here, guys. So, next up, protection. They don't protect each other. I'm surprised Sam isn't protecting Frodo, but this is not that Sam. There is a Sam that protects Frodo. Protects many different things. Not this one. Next up is interaction. There's no interaction in this deck. They are not interested in touching your opponents. Well, Frodo's interested in attacking your opponents. Whether or not he hits them is besides the point. He probably will eventually, but... Mana advantage. Nope. They're not gaining you mana. We're not after treasure here. We're not trying to cheat things out. We're not producing lands that we've seen. We're not just... Yeah. We're not doing any form of mana creation whatsoever. But we are doing this. And yeah, it gets its nice, big, juicy 5 points for card advantage. Guys, it's whenever Frodo attacks, if you've gained 3 or more life and the ring attempts you, and it's been 2 or more, so there's some hoops to jump through, but once you've jumped through those hoops, it sticks. The ring tempting you stays. There's no way to change that. Once it tempts you once, from there, it will always do 2 or more, and will continue to tempt you for the rest of your life, forever. And so even if Frodo dies, you can get him back and keep tempting and keep drawing cards. Let alone the fact that the ring draws you cards too. Draw a discard, but still. And then combo. Yes, this is where Sam comes in with the nice 4 points. Sam has a combo with his buddy Pippin and Hazel's Brewmaster. It's a newer combo, as you can see. So, Sam doing its food thing. Making foods cost 1 less is his thing. Okay? Pippin has this nice thing where you can pay 1 to tap it to create a food, and you can tap it to sacrifice 4 foods. Other creatures you control get +2/+3 and get haste. Till the turn, activate only as sorcery. But here's where Hazel comes in, right? Menace, or 3 and a black for a 3/4 Squirrel Warlock with Menace. When Hazel Brewmaster enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from your graveyard and create a food token. Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel Brewmaster. Activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. So the way this works is that you can, if Pippin's in the graveyard and you cast Hazel Broodmaster, you exile Pippin and you make a food. And then that food has Pippin's ability. Make a food. And then you can tap the next food to make a food. Then you can tap the next food to make a food. Then you can tap the next food to make a food. You can make infinite food. Just like an infinite amount of food, which is pretty crazy. Okay? But yeah, foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel Brewmasters, right? So you can keep making foods, and then you can tap 1 and sacrifice 4 foods, and other creature control get +2/+3 and gain haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Now here's the thing, because you probably make more food in some way, that's where you can probably sack more, but it's that last one. But yeah, you can make infinite foods this way. It's fun. It's kind of like the whole point. So that's the idea of turning Pippin into a food. Where he belongs. Bloody fool. Engines, it gets 5. It's simple. Peregrine Took is one of them. 2 and a green for a 2/3 halfling citizen. Whenever one or more, or if one or more tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food are created, you can sacrifice 3 food to draw a card. Because Sam makes a food at each combat, you'll be able to just make 2 instead, which is nice. The Gaffer's 2 and a green for a 2/3 halfling peasant. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life, draw a card. You will be, because you'll be sacrificing those foods each turn. And Rosie Cotton of South Lane is a 1/1 halfling peasant. 2 and a white for a 1/1 halfling peasant. When Rosie Cotton of South Lane enters the battlefield, create a food token. When you create a token, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosie. So yeah, you make a food token when it enters, and then you buff something. And then every time you make a food token, you buff something. And so you can buff Frodo. Now, that kind of goes against his whole, ring thing where smaller things can't block it. But, buff Frodo. Or, in my opinion, buff Sam. Sam's a 2/4. Just get him really strong. He can protect Frodo. Frodo can sneak in and deal that, 3 damage dispersed with the ring and stuff. And then Sam can just come in and buff Sam. So, before we move to the next page, let me know down below what you think their points are. Where do you think they land on everything? Do you think they're good, bad, not bad? Just let me know. And here we go. 22. They're at 22. They're at 3rd place. Technically 4th. They're 4th place. Right below Dragon, Yuriko, and Kenrith. Then Frodo. They beat Pantlaza and Miirym. Yeah, and it's all because there's 2 of them. If you fuse these into one guy, sure, you'd have all the stuff, right? But they'd have to remove something here or there. The fact that there's 2 of them is what makes them 22, okay? You'd have to lose something, okay? And honestly, if you had asked this before we had the squirrel, it wouldn't have gotten the 4 points for a combo. That's the only good combo or any type of combo there is with the 2 commanders. But because there's a combo that works with the commander, it gets its points. So that's 4 points. Without that, it would drop 4 points, bringing it down to 18. Being tied up at 6th slot with Kaalia and Jodah. So getting to 3rd place is pretty cool. And it shows you that the more cards come out, the higher chance of something interesting just happening. Where like a commander just gets broken because of an interesting card that comes out. So that's what I always keep my eyes out for. And this is a deck that got that. It got a combo. It got an interesting combo. Not CDH level, but definitely bracket 3-4 combo. Which is fun. You know? So let's talk about TTRPG. And let's do what I always do. Can we turn Sam and Frodo evil? No. I think they're just too small and meek to be evil. But I do think you can play an evil campaign against them. I think having your team play the evil group working for Sauron, or like in this case, like even if you're like doing like some other thing, like if you're setting it in a different world, like 2077 steampunk or Starfinder or Star Wars even, you can have Sam and Frodo be the adventurers who are trying to get rid of the MacGuffin, and Sauron the Destroyer is trying to, you know, get his MacGuffin back, right, to rule the world. And his power is felt, but he doesn't actually exist, right? And you guys work for Sauron as villains. You're hired, okay? And you all make your villains, and your goal is to stop these guys. And I think it's cool. Like they're not strong, right? They're not. And so they have to have an army around them to really make it useful. And that's what they get. They're sneaky, right? Frodo having the One Ring, I'm going to bring that back up just as like an explanation. Having this, being the ring bearer, getting these abilities but slowly losing himself is interesting as a way to fight, right? So at first, like, he's a nobody. Now he's a somebody because he has the ring, okay? But creatures with greater power can't attack him. So you cannot attack Frodo yourself, okay? You're too strong. You need to get someone, like, yeah, creatures with greater power can't block him, right? So you can go after him, but if he's running away, you're not going to be able to catch up with him, right? You can't stop him from getting away. He's going to run. You have to try to get him while he's not paying attention. So it's like a cat and mouse. You're chasing him constantly, right? And then, like, eventually, you know, the ring, as it continues on, the ring bearer attacks and draw a card, discard a card. So he gains knowledge through attacking and gathering more information. And then eventually it's you know, he's more tempted by the ring. The ring bearer is more tempted. And even if he does become blocked by a creature, some small thing, he can take them out. And eventually he's just like, he's actively harming the enemy just by taking out the leaders secretly. And that's the idea, right? So like, they're taking out your front line, your back line, and you're trying to stop this. Meanwhile, Sam is just like the dude preparing food and making sure they stay alive. And because of the food, Frodo's there, right? And so that's the idea. Like, you create a group whose whole goal is to kill these two. You have to find them. Well, yeah, to end the two, right? You got to find them as villains and get the MacGuffin back to your villainous master. And that's the whole point. That is like the entire goal of the story, is find these two guys that are trying to find a way to destroy or trying to get back to the location that this was and stop them. Like, what if you could stop them? Do it. And I think that's interesting. Where, yeah, like, you just don't know, but every time you go after them, there's just more stuff in the way. Like, they're with people, or you don't know where they are. You're like, I lost them. I don't know where they are. But if they end up using it, which, like, the DM can roll a d20 or something, and, like, if it rolls a certain percentile, the longer he has the ring, the more chance he puts it on. As soon as he puts it on, you know exactly where he is. You're like, your Sauron's just like, yeah, he's here. Go. And you guys can just fly after him, trying to get to him, and then they have to hide. I think that's kind of cool. If you want to make them good guys, yeah, just make the Fellowship guys. Like, here's your 2 people. Make 4 people to go with them. You had to protect them. Don't let them die. He has the 1 ring. He will slip it on accidentally. And the longer it goes, the more chances he does. And every time he does, villains will show up. Or know exactly where you are. So you got to get into hiding. Either into a place where they can't get to you, or you just have to, like, run. Or prepare for battle. So that's like your random encounter. But then you always have someone who's making food. So that's fun. So it definitely works better as a hero team than like they work as heroes. Trying to make Sam and Frodo bad guys is weird. I don't like. You could, like, almost say that what if, like, the ring did take over Frodo and Sam refuses to give up on him, and so Frodo becomes, like, Gollum-esque and has just lost himself to the ring, and Sam is just with him, protecting him. And so, what if Sam and Frodo failed to throw the ring into the fire, and Sauron took over, but, like, he doesn't have the ring. He's still not at full power, but, like, the men of Earth failed in that last battle, and so you're a new group of people just trying to find the ring, and you're on a search to try to find Frodo and Sam, who are just lost in this cave, being like Gollum, and Sam is just making food, and he's like, no, Mr. Frodo, we don't eat raw fish, that's gross, we've got to cook them. And Frodo's, yes, Sam, yes, you're right, Sam, my precious Sam. Yes, Mr. Frodo. Yes, Mr. Frodo, you're precious. I know you're precious, Mr. Frodo. I know. Don't put it on, Mr. Frodo, though. You know they'll come after us. They always do. Yes, Sam. You're right, Sam. You're always right, Sam. So, like, that would be an interesting, like, they're not the villains on purpose, but they are. And it would be sad. It'd almost be like a mercy killing at that point. So, let me know what you think about that concept, any of the 3. The most obvious one is just to be partners of them. The most boring one is being the villains, in my opinion. But that last one's super interesting to me. So, that's my opinion. I'm Izzy. This is Rolling Richer Cards. Have a wonderful day. Peace.